Students have 100% control over the design. 100% control over the design. So in essence, if I have 30 kids making these pots, I should have 30 different pots with 30 different designs. And that's why I really like this process, because they've got to do the research, they've got to choose the design that they're going to work on, then they start making that design. This here is just to get them started. Once they get started and get the idea, this gives them a size. So I find during this project I get some of the largest pots, because most times students feel very secure with a little small pot. This makes them work big. And then we go around here to construction, and that's where they're actually making the pot. And here, the technical skills, because they've got to smooth it. They've got to make sure that those coils are together, otherwise it's going to crack around as it's drying. And then we get here to follow the plan to make the solution, and then justify the changes. So if in fact their pot changed because of whatever circumstances, sometimes the clay is starting to dry, and maybe they were going to make it this big and now they're going to make it smaller. And then we go up to here, and in the end, okay, once the pot's done, they've chosen a color, they've chosen a design for that pot, and it can vary within that culture. They don't have to choose exactly the design on the pot that they chose the shape of, as long as it stays within that culture. And this is all self-evaluated, and in the end, that pot is worth really 2 grades. One for the actual designing of the pot and construction, the other one for the finished product. And the 3rd grade is on a report of which they research that culture in their journal. So it's actually a 3-graded major project for the year.
Okay, so I'm Ryan Ong. I'm in the sophomore class now, and I've been taking ceramics for a semester. Yeah. So what we had to do in this ceramics class is make our own culture pot. And first, what you have to do is you have to make your own. You have to research what the pot's culture has to be, and after that, you make your own template. After you get your template, you start to build your pot. Maybe some changes occur. There will be a bit of design, a bit of error. But then the main thing is when you start to decorate your pot, and that's when you can either copy exactly what someone else did, or you can have your own ideas and develop those. Which at the end of the day, we evaluate, we see what we could improve, we judge our successes and failures, and that's it.
I'm Anna Lip, I'm in 9th grade, and I've been taking ceramics for 1 semester. So when I'm given a new art assignment, I like to research different art styles, such as architecture or just paintings and things like that. And so then I get my ideas and go into detail with the actual artwork clay. But for this project, I created a pot over a period of a few weeks, and then I painted the pot. And this was an inspiration from Mesopotamia, because I really love the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and that's part of Mesopotamia. And so I decided to do Mesopotamian artwork. And so I looked up ideas of what Mesopotamian artwork was, and I learned that writing or drawing animals on the artwork symbolized different things. So maybe a ram and a bull would symbolize being masculine, and then drawing women would be feminine. And so when I decided to do the pot, I wanted to do a pot that was an actual ram, but since I've never taken ceramics, it was very hard. So I had to adjust my pot, and I decided to just draw a ram on the pot. And it turned out very well. I could have glazed it better on the bottom. Okay.
Hello, my name is John, and I'm a photo student, and I'm as well as a yearbook student, and I am a senior. The design cycle mainly helped me through yearbook publications. So for Inquire Analysis in publication is actually the decision process of when to get things done. And for developing ideas is actually when we're shooting for an event, like what kind of equipment do we need, and finding the solution of how to get things done. And for creating the solution is actually when we take the photos for the actual event, making the page, editing our photos that we've taken, and giving it to our editor and instructor for for evaluation. Due to the nature of a publication, the evaluating and the creating the solution process tends to go back and forth, which is nice. So the good thing about evaluating and creating the solution is that we are able to go back and forth and revise what kind of errors that we made, so that when we release our final product to the public, in this case our school, is presentable.
Hi, my name is Deanna Williams and I'm a senior at ISKL and I'm currently in ISKL's photography class. In terms of my processing and how I came up with all my ideas, first I came up with like a base idea of what I wanted to do. So if I wanted to do like street photography or portrait photography or night photography, anything, I thought of a theme or something that was important to me or just something that I wanted to try and experiment with. And that's what you can see with these images here. They all have like a related theme. So over spring break, I went to Kerala with my family. This theme was like family oriented. This is a portrait of my dad, and this is a portrait of like my stepmom and my sister. And it all has like a very familiar look to it because that's what's familiar to me, and that's what I care about. It's like my family. In terms of the design cycle, first what you would do is that you would figure out what you would want to do with the range of ideas that you have to choose from, and you'd see like who has done it and like how can I do it. So if you wanted to do street photography, you would look and see which street photographers there have been like in the past, and then you would see how they've applied like their methods and what they did to make their photography so great, and then you'd apply it to your own style. And so what you would do is then you would decide, okay, where do I want to go? Do I want to shoot at a night market? Do I want to shoot at a day market? Which camera do I want to use? What do I want to shoot? And then afterwards you would go ahead and find your resources, and then you would go on to execute your idea, what you want to do. Afterwards you develop your film or you upload your pictures on the computer. It's whatever you want to do. And then you evaluate your photos and you see which ones do you want to display, which ones do you want to include into your work, whether it's a blog or whether it's a website. And then you see how successful you were in what you did. And if you did bad, then you think about what you could do to improve it, and then just bring more success. There's no failure. It's just you keep improving what you've done. Go.
Okay, so this year, John Stupka and I were talking to Nikolai Joyce, who is a friend of ours who teaches at Nanjing International School. They use the MYP program, and they use the design cycle to talk about the process of coming up with creative ideas and deciding what you want to create, what tools to use, what methods to use, evaluating how you've done, whether it either be evaluated by the teacher or self-assessment, whatever it is. So what we have here is we have Inquire Analysis. This is where people come up with an idea. In the case of photography, advanced photographers might decide to explore a particular topic: street photography, fashion, night photography, micro photography, whatever. And then they would research photographers, find out what other people have done, maybe figure out what they need. So then they go over here and develop the idea. Okay, I'm going to specifically do such and such, I'm going to need these tools, I'm going to use this time period, and they would come up with a plan for that. They would execute that plan, that would be creating the solution, and then that plan would be taking the pictures, working in the darkroom, or editing your digital photos or whatever method or media you're using. And what's really interesting about the evaluation process is in yearbook, for example, where we're publishing, that process can go back and forth. So you notice the arrows go back and forth anyway. Somebody develops an idea, they go back and they say, I need to know more about it. So they go back and study another photographer, or they look at other yearbooks and find out what other people have done. Evaluating, you take a result, you share it. Maybe it's a page design for yearbook and you say, how's that? Okay, not so great, I'll go back, make some changes. Okay, how's that? And so it becomes a process for excellence, a process for presentation, a process of consultation with peers and advisors. Thank you.